Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today am joined by the one, the only Oracle. Good morning, Oracle.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Tired Monday morning, but it's nice to be here anyways.
You know what it looks like from where I'm sitting?
This
This looks like a hostage video.
Why?
Would you like to repeat after me? I'm in good health and my spirits are high.
I'm not harmed. They do not want to hurt me. They just want the money.
We are live 15 minutes early today because we have a call at 12 o'clock, which we thought was at 1 o'clock. It's actually at 12 o'clock. So we're live 15 minutes early because the Oracle has some charts to go through. Can I have my light back?
You can have my light back.
It's just falling down.
How did it even fall?
I had no idea. I didn't touch it. So we have some charts to go through.
Good.
Of course, it's Monday, so we have the charts. So we have Oracle charts and we have charts. I know it looks like a hostage video because most of you must feel like this is a hostage video because we're going to go through Bitcoin dominance. We're going to go through the DXY. We're going to go through the total, but we are going to get to some real content today. We are going to be talking about Flowrider, not the artist.
No.
We're going to be talking about SEC Slammer. We're going to be talking about BlackRock and ETH, Arbitrum and NVIDIA. We're going to be talking about virtual AI. That's been going through a bit of a pump. And then we're going to talk about Loop being hacked. And we have some breaking news. Of course, the Oracle always comes with breaking news, mainly breaking my lights. And that is something he found from Zach XBT about, an hour or two ago?
Yeah, about 9:30 our time.
So that's it. Now, because we're early, nobody's in chat. KB is here. Good morning, KB.
Morning, KB.
Hidden Agendas is here. Good morning to you. I hope you are both well. Now, with the power of magic, we will flip over and have a look at some prices. You will see we have a different UI, but it's not a different UI. It's the same UI that we're now using again. You'll see on the right-hand side, we've got the Oracle's menu back.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look pretty?
Yeah, a bit cropped, but it is nice nonetheless.
How's it cropped?
I don't know, it's off screen a bit.
Not off the screen at all. It was fine from where I'm sitting. Right, should we look at the prices?
Yeah.
Bitcoin coming in nearly at $95,000. Now, the title of the show today, Oracle, is $100,000 Inc.
Yeah,
and you're not going to agree with me on that, are you?
Well, I don't know. Okay, I've been experimenting with different things, and it's not saying the best. And okay, I'll get into it in the show.
Okay, Ethereum coming in over $1,800. Tether has outperformed Ethereum over the last 2 or 3 years. Tether is doing incredibly well at $1. XRP hasn't got back to where I wanted to go, which is about $2.50. We're at $2.33. That's got a way to go. BNB, the Walrus, as we should probably start calling it, that's still at $600. And look at that, Solana, $151. All of those people out there, all three of you that are watching this early morning show, will remember I said $100 to $110 for Solana. If you sold it all now, in 3 weeks, you'd have made 50%. Spot. Never bet against Fitzy Dramas. That's what I've been telling you guys for so long. You think Oracle does charts. I don't need charts. There's no charts in my head. Right then, gainers and losers.
Not a lot in your head.
There's not a lot in my head. That is very, very true. Pudgy Penguins is
up.
Now? No, we don't have XRs. We've got markets.
I'll make sure. I'm on the sidebars today. Make sure.
Well, isn't the sidebar showing markets next? Which I think it is, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what we're still on. We haven't left it. We're looking.
I thought you said X-Files Pudgy Penguins.
No.
Good. Carry on.
I said 24-hour gainers.
Oh, hold on.
Pudgy Penguins is up 25%. Deep Book. Now, I told everybody about Deep Book months ago. Do you remember? We tweeted about it.
Yeah.
That is on an absolute tear at the minute.
It looks like it.
Monero is up, but we know why, don't we? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Yes. Walrus is up again. I don't know whether we can call BNB Walrus if there's a Walrus coin. What should we call BNB? Hippo.
Yeah.
Hippo. The coin that I won't mention is up over $1. That's up 14%. Virtuals is up another 15%. It's at $1.28. Told everybody to buy Virtuals. AIXBT and AI16Z. Yes, I'm not saying it out loud. I'm not degrading myself to say that word. Core is up. I would keep an eye on that project. And losers, I'm not expecting many losers today. No, not many losers today. ASI is down 6%, but it is back at 73 cents. That was down at 40 cents not that long ago. That's had a bit of a recovery. Crap coin, Bitcoin SV is coming in. That's at $40. ENS, utter waste of time. That is down below $20. BitTorrent, new BitTorrent, because the last one was so bad. They've launched it again. That's also crap. Don't go near that. Uniswap is not bad at that price. WorldCoin is crap. Told everybody to sell it at $5. Do you know how much it's worth today, Oracle?
How much is it worth now?
$1.14. And then one of my favorite coins is at 24 cents, which is Polmatic. So there are your prices.
Very nice.
Your prices.
Very nice.
We should do the show one day, and I should do it in a northern accent. Because the other day we were watching some Yorkshire programme, weren't we? And you thought they were putting that accent on.
I knew they existed in the world. No, I hadn't seen them in the wild, but I knew these were accents which existed in the world. But it felt like a cartoon. So, yeah.
People from Yorkshire, okay, they are kind of from the moon. They're not real people, I don't think, Yorkshire people. Charles is in chat. He's just said Pengo to the moon. Pengo is going to go to the moon.
What are we on now? I think I could expect we're on X-Files now.
We're on X-Files now. Now,
I've got one singular job today. It's the charts. But apart from that, my main job is also to do sidebar.
Now, we're not starting with a video today. We're going to start with a meme. Now, you know what's wrong with this meme?
What's wrong with the meme?
It's got a Nokia 3310 in the meme.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
The Nokia 3210.
It's never died.
You could launch that into space. You could let it burn up on entry. You could let it fall into a volcano, okay? Be chewed up by a hippo, spat out, be talked at by a liberal with blue hair for an hour, and it would still play snakes. So that is the OG telephone.
I do want to say, AI is a wonderful thing. But this image, to the surface looks brilliant. But what I find funny about AI is the little details. If you look at the number pad of that Nokia, it's all over the place. But
absolutely. Well, I don't think that Ethereum is dead, and I will die on that hill as well. There's many hills that I'm gonna die on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but when we don't die on those hills, I will be unbearable. Just so you all know, I'll be unbearable. Now then, Adam Back just said corporate buying will send the Bitcoin market to 100 to 200 trillion. Most companies will move to a Bitcoin treasury. Now, I thought that is a really nice target, 100 to 200 trillion. But Oracle, the question is, where would that rank Bitcoin amongst other assets? Up we come here. Now,
will that make it the biggest thing ever?
It won't just make it the biggest thing ever. It will be 5 to 10 times bigger than gold.
Right.
So
I've just gone to the website and I've looked at the highest market cap there is. And it seems like Bitcoin has to get this value from somewhere. And it's crazy. If you scroll, because obviously it talks about this value coming from companies having this treasury, whatever it was. How many companies have to put their entire valuation into Bitcoin for it to even reach $300 trillion?
Well, first of all,
Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Alphabet. It's ridiculous.
First of all, he's talking out of his back hole. Okay.
How much has he bought? How much Bitcoin has he bought?
He's all in on Bitcoin, as lots of these people are. Right. I'm going to read some numbers out. Bitcoin is the 7th largest asset in the world. Okay. Just below Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple. And then, bigger than everything else put together is gold at 22 trillion. So when somebody tells you that an asset is going to go to $100 trillion, you need to do one of two things. You need to laugh at them or shake your head and walk away. One of those two things. Now, in the future, all assets will appreciate in value. All assets will grow in value because the money supply will grow in value. But if the money supply grows at 5% a year, for example, and markets grow at similar amounts, then it's going to take gold potentially 30, 40, 50 years to go to $100 trillion. Bitcoin will obviously try and catch up, but Bitcoin's job right now is to get to second place. Now, if it gets to, let's say, 4 trillion, from where we are now, that's what, a 3x? No, 2.5x, something like that. 2.5x from where we are now. So that puts Bitcoin at about $230,000. That seems a little bit extreme to get up there. Now, anyone can put a price on an asset and say, oh, we're going to go to 1,100 trillion for Bitcoin. Based on what? Based on what? Is he going to say based on 3% of the world assets?
But
I mean, come on.
I remember...
Idiot.
I don't know if this was... I think it might be one of the Friday streams, but I remember we talked about this and we had a not conversation per se, but I remember being annoyed by it because, these people, I think it was one of the Friday streams, on the idea that these people can say what they want and people are going to forget about it in a week. And this is the best part. On the topic of this conversation, the person which brought the conversation up, which said some ridiculous price of Bitcoin, I can't even remember the person's name. I don't remember what they said.
No.
But it's the fact that these decently big, whatever size people, they can say whatever they want about Bitcoin because in a month max, everyone's going to forget about it and no one will remember. Apart from the Undertaker, you, which will bring everyone back, drag them to their graves and go, you said this 6 months ago, drag them by the neck.
You know what? I really like that nickname, Undertaker.
Yeah,
I like that.
Undertaker Crypto. But
I should stream with my hood up like this.
I think
so you can't see my eyes.
I think after the all-time high, I think there needs to be someone who needs to go back, a year or however long, because obviously it goes up and it'll take a while to trickle down. But after however much time, go back and find all these people and find all their predictions for Bitcoin and just list them up in a video.
There are people that do that, believe it or not. There are people that do that. For
this bull run, they didn't say that because the amount of prices we've had have ranged from like $1 to like $1 bazillion.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Right then.
Anyway.
We need to move on because can you believe my floof's fallen off?
I can't believe that. I can still feel mine on my neck, and that's crazy.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how true do you think this comment is going to be?
Go on.
Okay. Many haven't realised this yet, but the meme coin bull run will be the biggest bird to the boomer generation and establishment the world has ever seen. It will be chaotic and oh so beautiful. On a scale of 1 to 10, how true is that?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. What, on a scale of 1 to 10 is not I think so. What would it be?
Okay, so that falling on how much I agree with the idea that
yes.
I don't think people are going to care that much. I think people will shout into their echo chambers, screw you.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
4.
Thank you. That's actually quite low.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be quite high. I'm going to give that a 0.
No one's going to care.
Or 1, because I can't go lower than 1. Yeah. Right then, Ripple President Monica Long confirms that an IPO is not priority for the company anytime soon. You know when somebody says something's not a priority anytime soon, you know what that means?
What?
It's an absolute priority. You like Man United saying it's not a priority that we get a striker even though they don't score goals. It's clearly a priority. Or if a team loses 5-0 every week, it's not a priority that we get a goalkeeper. It's an absolute priority for XRP to have an IPO because if Trump loses the next election, I think the next Democrat Party that come in will try and put the brakes on all of this crypto stuff. So I think they've got 3 years. So if it's not a priority now, I think there's going to be a priority at some point quite soon. Right then, moving on. We've still got a lot to do. By the way, we did start 15 minutes early because we have a call at midday. So we'll try to get through this as fast as possible. Now, you won't remember this much, Oracle, but I talk a lot about how crypto follows the same trajectory as traditional tech stocks when it first started. Right, you've heard me say that, right? Mm-hmm. So I found a really good tweet about this that sums it up. So somebody's got a chart of Amazon.
Yeah.
In the first 15 years of Amazon, it had a 95%, a 62%, and a 67% pullback, along with 20 to 40% dips along the way. In the next 15 years, it had 6 pullbacks of 30%, including a 57% drop in 2022. It didn't really matter if you bought the top. And there is the chart. Now, the reason this is important is when you have a new disruptor like Amazon or Apple or Tesla or Bitcoin, whenever you have a disruptor, the disruptor is always classified as high risk because it's trying to disrupt something.
Yeah.
So Amazon was trying to do what? sell everything to everybody in the world. Yeah. And I remember saying back at the time, it's never going to work. It's going to fail. And guess what? I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I wasn't wrong on Apple. I could see what Apple were doing. I could kind of see how Google was going to take over. But Amazon, I just thought it was never going to work. It was just too big. And of course, then it did work. And it's gone on to be one of the top 5 biggest companies in the world. But the point of the matter is, Bitcoin is going to go along the same type of trajectory that Amazon has gone over the last 25 years. So if you want to see a Bitcoin chart of how Bitcoin is going to look over the next 25 years, go and look up AMZN, go back to day 0 and follow that chart, because Bitcoin is going to follow the same type of trajectory. Maybe not letter for letter, but definitely there. Now, the breaking news then before we get into the charts, or not the charts, not your charts.
The market, yeah, charts, I guess.
Yeah. Bitcoin theft worth 330 million spikes Monero price in laundering frenzy, says Zach. So do you want to go through this?
I don't have it up, but yes, I can. I also don't have a link, so give me a second.
You can go through that if you want. And I will give a few shout outs. Good morning, Mags. I hope you're well. Danny, I have not said good morning to you.
All right.
I think Danny won. Danny won the Pride competition.
Oh yeah.
Over the weekend, and you know, Mary won the 2 monkey. Oh, why do these things keep moving?
There we go. Sorry. There you go.
You've disconnected me.
What?
You've disconnected me from the article, so I'm going to go full screen.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
All right. Okay. Make sure I'm ready. Apparent Bitcoin theft worth $330 million spikes Monero price in a laundering frenzy, Zach XBT. So this literally, I went to his Twitter, literally tweeted it 9:30 a.m. So about, what's that, an hour and a bit ago?
About that, yeah.
Hour and a half ago. A special transfer worth around 3,500 Bitcoin occurred on Sunday, which appeared to be a theft event, according to on-chain investigator Zach XBT. He reported that the transfer was made from a potential victim's wallet to the address, whatever. Yeah, I'm not saying that hard. Shortly after the transfer, the stolen funds were laundered through more than 6 exchanges and converted to Monero to obfuscate the activity. This triggered an immediate 50% spike in the price due to the size of swaps and thin liquidity on the platforms. Crazy.
Wow. So somebody's been fished for $330 million.
Yeah, someone's been famoosed. Impressive that you have that in one location. But
yeah.
But anyway, rich people are gonna be rich, whatever. It jumped 35% in the past 24 hours to trade at $308 at the time of writing.
I think it's about 297 now,
yeah,
isn't it?
What's nice about it's 264. There we go. What's nice about TradingView is that it integrates charts into their articles, which I really like.
Yeah.
So about $264 right now. $333 million
stolen
and pumped into XRP. Not XRP, sorry. Monero.
Wow. XMR. I did an article once.
Yeah.
No, not an article. Sorry, a video once called "Monero is Dead," and I got attacked.
Was that the one where they try to figure out how to read the transactions of Monero?
No, it was when it got delisted from Binance.
Oh, right.
So what happened? Oh, yeah, that is also another thing that happened, but that happened a little bit later.
That was way overhyped. That.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but basically, Binance and a few other major exchanges had to delist Monero because certain countries, I think Italy and France were 2 of them that wanted to ban Monero. So they took it off their exchanges, and Monero's price crashed. And I said, Monero is finished. Once you dry up the liquidity of a coin, it's very hard for a coin to hold its value, because obviously coins appreciate as you add them to more exchanges because the liquidity pool gets deeper. And I said Monero was finished, and they absolutely came after me with pitchforks and burning bales and everything. And to this day, well, no, until today, the price had never reached $300 again. And now it did. But why did it reach $300? Because of a scam, because of a hack. And that's the problem with Monero. It's a privacy coin, which means it's going to be used by people for nefarious reasons. And that's why I said there's no place in crypto.
It's going to be because it was an underground thing. Obviously, most crypto was, but yeah. It was a very underground thing. It's manned by an anime like front head. I don't know what you call it, like a little mascot sort of thing. You know, it's very, you know, undergroundy or whatever you want to call it. But so it's impressed how big it's got and how widely used. But again, you know, unless you're doing, I mean, I've never used, you know, I've never bought it. I've never really shown much interest in myself. I get the concept, I like the concept, but then that concept brings along majoritively just, you know, crime. And like, you know, if I'm not saying I'm going to do crime, but the only time I'm realistically going to be using it is if I'm really trying to do crime, or try to get away with something, which is not what I would want to use it for.
Exactly.
I'm not going to try and get away with anything.
For every one person that values their privacy, that wants to use this coin, like you say, the people that are actually going to use it are the crooks.
Yes, I respect there's a large proportion of people who respect having a system which is anonymous, and they can hold their money in this store of value, which people, you know, don't know, you know, they can't read who's holding it, and it's their money, which no one can know about.
Yeah,
and I understand that, and I like that idea where you can have something yourself, but it's just a categorical fact that this system is going to allow a mass amount of crime to happen, and no one's going to be able to do anything about it.
Exactly. Right then, Market Watch. Wednesday,
yes,
we have the PCI index, the PCE year on year, the core PCE index, and core PCE year on year. We are going to see the end of April's figures for March. So we are expecting, let's have a look, which one's forecast and previous, right? Okay, so we're expecting inflation to be a lot lower, come a lot lower.
Yeah.
If inflation comes in a lot lower on Wednesday, and we're not going to get to your charts yet, we are going to start attacking 97,000.
Yeah.
That is my prediction.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like categorically, whatever I have on my charts, whatever anyone has on their charts, categorically. Obviously, if you've got something which shows positive on your charts, and you have some news thing which says it's which categorically will bring people to be more positive on the charts.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh well, charts gone up because this and the other. It's like, okay, well, realistically, you know, this big event has happened outside of the charts, which has brought the price up. So, you know,
exactly.
Whatever. Again, this is a forewarning of whatever I say. You know, this is happening.
This should get out close.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. There's no liquidations. We're going to move on very quickly. And last week, I forgot to look at Bitcoin dominance, which is the only one that I really enjoy talking about because it's just like a runaway train. Now, this is the DXY, which I don't know if I've done this with you on the stream. I said it would bounce, and I don't know if I drew one of my beautiful Bob Ross lines on these charts. Let's wait for it to load. No, I didn't draw it. That's a shame. Okay, it did bounce, but it's still at, wait for this to load. It's still at under 100. It's still 99.6. Now, just remember, this move up here is not going to cause the price of Bitcoin to tank, because this is trade war movement.
Yeah.
Can you see the stream on your?
Yeah, I'm watching it now, so I can see. I don't want to go to an interview because I'll kick you off.
Yeah, that's true. So this is all trade war movement.
Yeah.
The same with Bitcoin, the same with the DXY. It's the same as well as Bitcoin dominance. It's all trade war movements.
Again, once you get to a ticker which has multiple inputs, which can change, multiple variables which can change the value, it can be a movement downwards. Could be a number of things. But obviously, in this case, again, like I said, trade war. But like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean Bitcoin's, you know, going up or down. Obviously, if it goes down, you know, the valuation loses.
We're not finished. We're not finished at all. But anyway, even if it does, I mean, even if it rallies to 102, 103, it's still not very high at 102 or 103. Now, again, this Bitcoin dominance chart, I've got my line. I've got my new line, which is 66%. That's where I think we're going. We're at 64.14%. And what we've done, I'm going to draw some, look at that little line. Wait, look at that. I think we're using my trend line. Bitcoin is using my trend line as...
Bitcoin's watching the streams, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying Satoshi. By the way, CZ said that Satoshi is AI from the future. And I don't agree. Do you know what I think Satoshi is?
Yeah, what?
Do you remember there was a TV series called Travelers?
Yeah.
And it was a giant supercomputer in the future. that would send people back into the bodies of people that were about to die and then take them over, then help them live, kind of thing. Anyway, and that was to change the past to save the future. So I think Satoshi is an implant of a future person in a person that was going to die. So I think Travelers, the TV series, is more applicable than saying it's AI from the future. But what do I know? What does CZ know? Anyway, 64.14%. Let's move on. We don't have a lot of time, and you've got to do your charts yet.
I'm gonna be really quick. I mean, I'll probably won't go into too much detail on it because, again, we've got a lot to cover. Not a lot of time.
We've had 25 minutes of the stream, and we've not hit the first article.
Exactly. I genuinely, I'm gonna have to give the footnotes pretty much.
Right. So this is the total market cap of crypto. Now, I've got some nice lines on this chart, which I drew. Now, this, if we zoom out a little bit, takes us back to the 2024 highs. Did that actually draw a line then? There we go. So we came back to the 2024 highs, and give or take a few wicks down, which are to be expected with trade wars, we've come back up and we are sitting inside the bull market support band for the total market cap. And we're not going to do the total market cap 3 because it's very similar. What we're going to leave you with is, because I want to get onto the articles, is now the thing is, I might not do this chart every week because it doesn't really move. It's like watching a snail. Even if you watched a snail every week, how far would it really go? Would it cover a paving slab?
No,
I don't think it would.
No.
So this is your money supply. That was COVID, where we printed all the money. Move. There we go. Oh, it's hard to move that. You'll see that money supply is at all-time high. This is the American money supply, by the way.
Impressed with these drawings and these boxes. It's really, really advancing on Crystal Warehouse.
Can anyone else in chat hear that sarcasm?
It's not sarcasm. It's impressive. Yeah.
So what we got to do, if we do that, that's happy, and this, wait for this. That's a cough because he's got COVID.
I'm watching with the views because I'm watching your screen through the YouTube stream, and it's I'm seeing this in your voice right now as 5 seconds behind on the stream. Is he throwing up?
No, he's coughing because he's got COVID, hasn't he? Right then, Bitcoin ETF inflows hit 3 billion in stunning reversal after weeks of outflows. We've done a few tweets about this. We don't need to go into too much detail because the show is going to go on. But the point of the matter is, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about Ethereum, okay? The Ethereum inflows into their ETFs pre-staking. I've been saying this for weeks. The Ethereum ETFs are going to be allowed to stake that Ethereum. It's massive news, and everybody keeps making stupid memes about how Ethereum is the same as Internet Explorer or a Nokia 3310, right? The second staking kicks in, those people in suits are going to sell every Jane and Nancy in America a bag of Ethereum, and it's going to go up, okay? We're going to be over $2,000. Maybe over $2,200. It's going to be demand driven, right?
That's right back to where we were.
Hey,
right back to where we were. Not any movement for about $2,000.
We're going to be, but we're going to go a lot higher after that because that's when the big boys come out to play. So anyway, we had 3 billion in inflows. Again, the other thing to bear in mind about this, there's a war going on at the minute between strategy and the ETFs. Okay, Michael Saylor is trying to buy as much Bitcoin as possible. The ETFs are trying to buy as much Bitcoin as possible. And idiots are selling their Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. Because what happens, you know when BlackRock and MicroStrategy own 3 million Bitcoin between them, you know what's going to happen?
What?
Everyone is going to say the same thing. Gary Stevenson is going to be rolled out. You know Gary Stevenson?
Yeah.
We need to tax the rich more. They're going to roll him out and he's going to say, Bitcoin was made for rich people, and rich people own all the Bitcoin, and we need to tax them because they're poor.
You need to stop moving the table.
I can't, can I? Because the table isn't on. It's on. It's not locked.
I know. Just like float. Just have your hands up like this. I don't know.
But the point of the matter is that when all the rich people own the Bitcoin, who have we got to blame? Who sold them the Bitcoin? We did.
Everyone else.
Everyone else. But it's going to happen. And you can see it. Gary Stevenson, it's a fraud. All the rich people did this. George Soros and World Economic Forum is going to come out. He's going to say all these things and everyone's going to believe him. And it's not. It's simple supply and demand. When rich people think an asset is valuable and it goes up in value, they have the capital to buy more of it. You own it at $90,000.
Yeah.
Don't sell it. Keep the Bitcoin. Sell everything else if you have to. Sell Ethereum, sell Solana, sell Oracle token that hasn't launched yet. Sell Fitzy Dramas token that hasn't launched. Sell it all. Keep your Bitcoin. Do you want to do a chart now?
Should we pull a what's his name? Bitboy.
What do you mean? You want me to go around?
Take a train around the world and just start pumping and dumping random coins which we make.
What was it I saw the other day? If you want to see Ben out of prison, buy this token. It's like, what? He's gone to prison for like 3 months.
I can't believe after like, how many coins did he make himself?
Yeah. Right, I'm on your screen.
Oh.
I've got you up. About 4 in answer to your question.
Is it, can you see it?
Yeah, it says screen disconnected. Session disconnected.
Is it back now? It should, yeah, I can see it right now, it's back.
Fine.
Broadcasting. No, it's not fine, because can you see it?
It says session disconnected.
Yeah.
What's it supposed to say?
Not that, because I closed it. Is it not updated?
I'm just waiting now. My computer's frozen.
Right, okay.
I'm just waiting. Give me a second.
I'll go so I'm going to go even faster now on the charts.
Right.
Give some numbers and then.
I need to close. What I think I need to do is close the browser window down. Right, close the browser window down. I think it was a browser problem. Give me what. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put us on full screen for 1 second. So we're on full screen. If you want to wave to the people and ladies and gentlemen at home. Right. Let me just restart this. Do you know if somebody made a browser that could load websites without killing every computer that they run on? Do you know how much easier life would be for streamers?
Yeah, but you know, people are getting worse and worse at making apps.
I know.
There's more and more complacency in the software engineering world. You know, people are making things worse and worse, and it's making things slower and slower. It's making PCs need more and more power.
Right.
It's about now.
Did you send me another link or something?
I haven't, but I can.
Wait, don't send me anything. It's loading very, very slowly. Good grief, this is slow. How come this worked perfectly fine the other day? Here we go. Right, don't start yet. I need to go full screen. Did somebody walk onto your chart and then just draw all over it with like?
Are you insulting me?
No, I'm not insulting you.
Are you insulting my chart?
I'm insulting your chart, yeah. Well, they've got all these numbers on the right-hand side. What's all this?
These are the valuable. These are the values.
Okay.
Obviously, you can see it right there on the right, but I thought I'd, pump it. Anyway, I'm on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
Bitcoin. I thought I'd show the movement we've had over, the months basically, and just show it with my lines on it and all that. We can see we've got some nice, usage of what we have. Is the chart on the screen? Let's make sure.
The chart is on the screen. I have left the screen.
Right. So it's
just
just
I can
me.
stand up for 1 minute and find my flute.
So we've had good luck with that. We've had nice movements, and I'm really happy with how we've been using the values I have drawn in my lines. These highs and lows and these equilibriums. We've been using them very nicely. Obviously, last time we left you off with this extension line. I was basically saying we're going to get above this. We're going to keep on going. Once we're above this, I think we can surpass equilibrium and then continue to the next high, which obviously in this case was 91,860. Obviously, surpassing that now, actually sitting above it, above that 91,860 line, and continuing onwards towards 95. Nice. So anyway, that's kind of what we've had so far. The movement, not really much to say. Again, it's there. To talk about the current actual movement, we've done pretty well. So this is one of the highs on the lower time frame of the 4 hour. I'll maybe show it in a minute, whatever. And then this blue line is the weekly equilibrium high. So I will actually show this one. So this is a good value. Let me make sure this is the right value. There we go. Is it gonna be offsetted? No, okay, perfect. I'm actually gonna hide this as well so we can look at it. Okay, so you can see this is the equilibrium, this high, this low, and this equilibrium here. So we've been sitting below here. Obviously, we've had values in between, because again, this is like kind of the weekly equilibrium, but I'm using it on the lower time frame to look in more detail. So we obviously had different values within this area. Again, we had that 86k extension line, but the main kind of basis has been this 88,650 line. This has been a really important line for a while now, and obviously this high end here. Again, this was something we were sitting back all the way back here with these lows here, and obviously now we're just getting back to it. So on the basis level of this sitting in the 4 hour, and again, you know, this is more of a weekly time frame, and again, this will take a while, but we can see we are printing here. Now we haven't printed the candle, you know, on the weekly. Now again, with what we have coming in this week with these projected positive values and things which will be positive in the market, I don't think we're going to have a negative candle on the weekly in terms of having this, but you know, come down. We do need to have this print, and again, like I said, this is more of a weekly. For me, in my personal opinion, again, this is all opinion, no factual advice. This is a weekly basis type of structure and values, if you will. I don't really know how to word it the best way, but this then therefore means you can't have like a 1 minute print on something which holds its own on the 4 hour. So you do need this weekly print to hold the support. So, you know, looking on the 4 hour, it's showing really good, you know, really good signs. We've had a really nice structure. I'll keep it open actually. You know what? No, I'll show both so I can see it, so we can see the support. Where is it? There we go. So yeah, so holding this support really nicely. You know, coming up again. Obviously, the resistance now is at this equilibrium on the lower time frame, but we're holding really nice support here on the 4 hour. So that is really good. I do think we need to print on this on the weekly for it to be actually confirmed that we're holding this, you know, as we're on. Again, it's only Monday, so we'll see how the week progresses. But you know, hopefully the week should be a positive one. I do think in terms of where some actual valuable and tangible things I can say right now in terms of our movement, I do think we're in a good scenario. We're still in an uptrend, a massive uptrend. One thing I'm thinking a bit, you know, curiously about is this massive candle area here, especially on the daily. If we go to it, there's this massive kind of gap here which we haven't really got into at any point, and you know, just to pay attention to the idea that it's there, and you know, it's something which is going to be outstanding if we leave it, where we could definitely have some a visit into it to, you know, for liquidity or whatever, then we can go back upwards. So whether that be some sort of reversal structure here which brings us back downwards into this area, or we hold our own up here, again, obviously time will tell. But again, this is a 4 hour resistance we're at right now, and it is at equilibrium, so these are normally quite strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down a tiny bit towards 92k. I don't think we'll come, you know, all the way back down to 85k. I don't think we'll come right down to here based on what I have on my chart, you know, in front of me. Just thinking about our you know, where we are right now. I think that's a bit too much of a movement downwards. But I do think we could maybe see a bit of a support down here again. But again, we'll see how the week progresses and whatnot. I do want to be pretty fast with this, but I think it is up from here as well. Anyway, we'll go to Ethereum now because we do need to.
Wait.
Oh, God.
We don't do Ethereum yet.
Oh, we're not.
We're doing the article in Ethereum first. See that? Back to the studio. Thank you, Oracle, for your charts. Now then, should we do BlackRock and ETH? Because this is the kind of... We were going to do SEC Slammer, we're not.
KB has a resolution.
Yes, I saw that, KB.
Yeah.
Vivaldi.
Yeah.
That I'm going to give that... I'll have a look at that after the stream. It's just ridiculous. It's not... The thing is, it's not like... We don't try and do too much. Do you know what I mean? We don't try and do too many things. But what we do should just work. Like bringing up this article now could cause the browser to freeze because of all these adverts and videos that it has playing in the background, and it's just an absolute nonsense. But we're going to go. This is a headline article we're going to look at next. I'm not going to go into it in too much depth because what's important to understand is that I have been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks that Ethereum is not dead, and everybody out there in the land of Twitterverse is making memes about how Ethereum is from 1996 and it's an old man, it needs to be given a cup of cocoa and sent to bed, okay? The second institutional demand comes knocking on the door, Ethereum is going to go up, and it's as simple as that. And what people don't understand is fundamentals go out the window. because Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency. Now, there is a debate, and I asked the question on YouTube this week. Is XRP going to flip Ethereum? That's the question. Now, you might laugh at that until you go and have a look at the charts, because everybody remembers XRP being at 30 cents.
Are you back on the screen?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Why?
I
I can see it here. Oh, no. Am I physically back on the screen?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I just went to the stream quickly to see it, and
Aha! I'm back. You don't need to see me. You're the good looks.
I know, but
Right.
I wanted to look. I was looking at the stream. I thought, I can't see you.
You're the eye candy for the housewives.
Okay.
Now, look at the market cap of Ethereum Oracle. It's 219 billion.
Mm-hmm.
XRP is at 136 billion. So, if XRP hit, let's say for argument's sake, $3.50 tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's say the ETF news is announced tomorrow. XRP would flip Ethereum. That's all it would take. So a 50% move by XRP, and don't laugh and think that's too much because it went from 30 cents to $2.50 in the blink of an eye. XRP will flip Ethereum at some point. I think this cycle. I think we're getting close to that stage. I don't think Solana's going to do it. Solana is way behind. I don't think BNB is going to move. BNB is a slow coach. But the point of the matter is that the money is coming into Ethereum. And do we know why?
Why?
Because it's going to have staking, which will pay, for argument's sake, 3%. 3% APR as a person at home with their 401k would look at it. And what would happen is BlackRock will basically say, you see this asset here? This asset is free to you. Doesn't cost you anything. We don't charge you anything for you having this asset. And we pay you 2.5%. Okay? And everyone's going to go, but what is it? And they'll say, it's the second biggest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin. It's silver. It's going to be the next big thing, right? Think Wolf of Wall Street. And everyone's going to go and buy Ethereum. No one has a clue about Ondo. No one has a clue about layer 2s, Arbitrum, Optimism. Nobody cares, okay? This is institutional money. This is BlackRock. This is all of the Vanguards and ARK Invests selling this to their clients, and their clients are going to buy Ethereum. They're going to go, well, what's on Ethereum? BlackRock are going to build their empire on Ethereum. We're in. That's it. Nobody cares about transactions. Nobody cares about how much it costs. Nobody cares about everything. I tell you what they do care about. They care about that Vitalik dressed as a Pokemon, which I say about 3 times a week, I know. Yeah. But I'm not going to stop saying it until he's gone. But it's going to go up, and it's going to go up very soon. I'm not saying it's going to go to $5,000, but it's going to go back above $2,000, at which point you laughed. Okay, now that's fine. You're allowed to laugh.
I'm not laughing because I don't believe it. I'm laughing because it's the idea that it's genuinely not even that impressive that it's going to go back to $2,000.
No, I know, but also there's a lot of narrative around Ethereum being finished, and I don't agree with that. The same narrative that said XRP was dead.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely over for Ethereum. I just don't think it's, I don't think it's going to reach periods or areas where, because like obviously we don't see the same energy between Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think for the energy that Ethereum is going to see highs, not highs like Bitcoin, I'm not saying it's going to go to $200 million per Ethereum, but in terms of the idea relative to Ethereum's current price, that's going to go up to certain values. I don't think it's going to reach, again, I think a lot of people who are predicting these sorts of values for Bitcoin, these massive values, I still don't think it'll reach the majority of what people are predicting. But I think even less of for Ethereum as well.
But
anyway.
but you've got to bear in mind one thing. By the way, I'm ready for your chart.
Okay.
If you want to bring the chart up. Right, I've got your chart on screen now. Before you say anything, before you start, I just want to say one thing. What we're going to do is we've got 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
So after your chart, we are not going to do any more articles, and we're going to have a conversation.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have a conversation about, and this isn't a stitch up, by the way. We're going to have a conversation about whether the 4-year cycle is dead.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, yeah.
Because we need to have a conversation about this.
Like, I know you've been seeing a lot of it's already over type of things.
Yeah, and I don't agree with any of it, which is, that's my point of view, but I think you should maybe look at the other side of it as well, because I think there is an argument to be made.
So what side are you on? You don't agree with it?
I think I'm one of those people who believes in following the patterns until the patterns break.
Yeah.
Now, the pattern we'll talk about in a minute. You do your chart first.
Because I want to try, even whether I agree or not, I want to be devil's advocate, obviously, because that makes a good conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway, chart is on the screen. I'll be quick, so we have enough time to talk. Because again, we don't have a lot of time. So at current equilibrium right now, I don't have the swanky lines I do have on Bitcoin because I don't spend much time on it too because I don't care about it. But I can still use these lines we currently have. Anyway, we're at equilibrium. Again, a strong equilibrium. And again, this is one of the ranges which is quite decently high, which we've obviously been using for a while now. So then this is going to be big resistance. This is what we fell below last time. You can see we had support on the outer rim of equilibrium. Outer rim again, main support in the middle. So this has been a good support area. I really wouldn't be surprised if we have a bounce off here. And this is why I'm kind of on the fence with the charts as a whole. Because again, I do think we're going to be coming up as a whole. But, you know, I said, how long ago? Was it like 2 days ago? I was like, I'm not too positive on... I don't know if I'm too positive. I've been testing out some different things on the charts to see if I want to incorporate it on my streams. And the result of the TA was negative, so it kind of swayed me a bit. Obviously, I'm not too sure if it's something I want to include in my charts, but anyway, the idea, I keep on hooking my box and moving my laptop. Anyway, the idea that we're coming down a tiny bit, and again with these massive candles and these potential areas which we see on the daily anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if we did have retracement. This box here, I think, is like a 4 hour. One of these gaps down here on the 4 hour. It's sitting again about 1650. I really don't want to say Mongo or anything like that. But looking, obviously, if we look at the TA on a base level with the idea of a Bart Simpson, we have had this period of a massive movement upwards, and we've kind of stagnated since 23rd of April. We've stagnated and not really moved. If we look at this max wick high of this candle, 2 a.m. about 1807, current price 1812. So we haven't moved. Technically, haven't moved really. Again, we have moved obviously, but as in terms of the current price versus the first entry into this area, we haven't really moved that much. And I do think we could retrace before we go up again. Again, this is massive resistance. We are finding support at the outer rim of this equilibrium. So we are in this process of sitting in this kind of area where we could have this kind of movement which brings us up and whatever and find support on the way upwards. But I do think, again, with Ethereum's track record, I wouldn't be surprised if we did retrace a tiny bit. And again, we've already kind of come into this candle, because again, the daily candle is kind of broken up into this main candle about 1720, and then this candle down here about 1650. So I wouldn't be...
Would you not argue that, like Bitcoin, Ethereum has been accepted into the higher, the next area up?
Yes, I mean, kind of, again, there's different ranges. I do want to move on to one of the higher ranges for the weekly, but in what I have right now on my screen, it's still below the range. Again,
right, okay.
I will go on to...
Oh, I can see it on your screen now, yeah.
I think it was 2817 was the main one. And this was, again, I don't want to keep on reiterating why I always talk about, but this was, I believe it was this one. Was it, which line was it? I think it was this line. Is this I think this was the extension line, right? Yeah. The main thing was it this area? The thing I'm trying to point out was the main line, which brought us below, and then here it is. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is one of the main things I had to talk about, and this is kind of on the same topic of are we being accepted into the higher range? Are we still below for Ethereum? Are we going to come upwards? This was kind of my turning point for Ethereum. I talked about this as it was happening, back in whatever time it was, back here. I was talking about the idea that if we did come below this 2817 line and principally, I talked about this last stream before when we looked at Ethereum, or when I looked at Ethereum on the Friday stream. And, I obviously, like I said, I looked at it at the time, coming below this line at 1946. This was my turning point for Ethereum. Again, I was saying, if you were there on my streams, I was saying, I think if we don't hold this high or at the time a low, when we were sitting here to find support here and continue onwards, if we do eventually come down and see resistance, which we did at 1947, I would be really concerned for Ethereum in terms of coming even lower than where we were. And again, this was in a time where we thought we were at the lows for everything. And I was still trying to say, I still don't think we're finished for Ethereum in terms of where we can go down. In Bitcoin's case, again, obviously we've come down and everything, but in Bitcoin's case, obviously Solana's case was slightly similar as well. we were already at these really good support points, which we did hold for quite a while. But in Ethereum's case, it was a very different story, where we were already coming to these areas, which, the point of no return for me anyway, which was this area. Once we printed below this, I was pretty confident we weren't going to get back above 2187, and that we could continue back downwards, which obviously we did in this point, came back into this area, and then obviously found resistance, and then came right back down to where we were, and then coming to the range lower, found support at the low here. So again, it was also equilibrium. Again, there's a lot of lines coincide with each other, so it is also the area of similarity for the equilibrium. Again, 1903 for the highest line here, so it's very similar lines here. Obviously, this was a support which we then obviously didn't hold and then came down, which we're now seeing resistance at. So again, my positivity on Ethereum was never really the strongest thing, and I do think we could potentially go even lower than where we are right now. So I would love to say I think we're going to come right back up to 2000 and whatever and have all these things. But I do think, again, I even draw these circles here, which was, I think, last stream for whatever it was, of this being the main resistance. So even if we did come up, I do think 1887 would be big resistance as well. So I think there's more likelihood that we maybe retrace a bit more, have a wick towards 1680 before we go up again. But again, that's opinion. And whatnot. And also this green area is massive weekly one is also going to be resistance as well if we eventually get back up towards it. Even on the weekly, again, the difference, this also shows the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, as it always has been, in terms of Bitcoin's above equilibrium on the weekly candle, but Ethereum hasn't even, the new weekly print to try and get back above isn't even above the equilibrium.
Oh, I know.
So I'm not too positive on Ethereum, is what I will say.
Perfect. Now, we do have a couple of articles which we're not going to do today. We might do them tomorrow, because we really do have. We've got this phone call in 24 minutes, so we've only got 9 minutes left. But we're going to go over here. Okay, this is like Russell Harty. You won't remember Russell Harty.
I won't remember it. I don't even know him.
Well, basically, he used to have a sit down. What about CBeebies? You get all those famous actors that would sit down and read a bedtime story. Well, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to tell
two really famous people.
We're going to tell a bedtime story about the end of the bull run. Now, a lot of people have been saying we've had a lot of Bitcoin conferences and stuff like that, and crypto conferences going on over the last few days. We've had Solana Crossroads. We've got another Bitcoin one that's going on at the minute. And some guy from, not Bitwise, begins with a B, and it's not BlackRock, had basically turned around, the CEO, and said that he thinks that the 4-year cycle is dead. And he gave the reasons why he thinks we've had the 4-year cycle. And I don't agree with it, okay? And he basically says that in 2021 we had this, 2017 we had this, 2013 we had this, and there was a reason for the pump that we had in each of the bull runs that we had. And he said, now that institutional money is here, that's the end of the bull runs, in terms of Bitcoin is not going to have its dips and its troughs along the way and stuff like that. Now, we showed you, and this is the premise to the question I'm going to ask you. I showed you the Amazon chart, which had the 90%, 60%, 40%, 30% dips along the way. And I think if you go 25 years into the future, the Bitcoin chart is going to end up looking similar, because lots of appreciating assets do that. So my question to you is, do you think there's enough institutional money? And this is a question for the audience, by the way. If you think the bull run is over, type over. If you think the 4-year cycle, is over, type over. And if you think the 4-year cycle will continue for another 4 or 8 years, type Bitcoin, BTC.
What do you think?
What do I think? I'm going to ask you first.
No, but I'm trying to be devil's advocate here.
What do I think?
Yeah.
I do not believe the 4-year cycle is finished because of the halving.
Okay. I think it's finished.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you then why, if you want to. Actually, no, you say tell me why it's finished.
Okay. Well, let's consider the global situation of the world. Whether that, not just the economy, but also the political situation of the world, is extremely different than how it was in. Again, there have always been obviously black swans and scenarios which have caused prices to go down quite thoroughly. But there, I think, in terms of the severity of scenarios and also the length of these. Obviously, COVID was a very long one, but I think in terms of the situation we have currently of the world. I think it's a longer term negative kind of view of the world, and I think this has a massive effect, obviously, on the prices, not only Bitcoin but kind of the markets as a whole. And this could give us a not so fortunate movement upwards as we would expect normally in these cycles, which would kind of break this cycle which we've had for so long.
So every 4 years, we have a new president of America, which is the leader of the free world. Okay. In 2008, we came closest to the entire global economy collapsing in 2008, and that spawned Bitcoin. That was the motivation to get Bitcoin off the ground. Everything we've seen in the last couple of years is nothing. Okay. Just to give you an idea, in the UK alone, in 2008 and 2009, they cancelled 600,000 cards because the banking system couldn't cope with the transactions. 600,000 cards were cancelled. I don't know what percentage of the working population that was. I don't know, 5%, 3%, whoever knows, right? We got to the point where people's cards were being turned off because there wasn't enough money in the system. It had collapsed. So that was bad. That was like really, really bad. Yeah. And it was bailed out. The government's printed money to bail out all of the banks. Some banks went to the side because they had to sacrifice some people. Nobody went to prison, by the way. That's another interesting fact about this. And it was all caused by contagion from America. So America was to blame. We had bank runs in the UK. We had Northern Rock. Everybody heard a rumour that it'd run out of money. They turned up at 9 a.m. for their money, and by 1 o'clock the bank had collapsed. So that was bad. That was 2008 bad. Now, we're nowhere near that. Now, what do we have at the minute? We have Trump posturing. We have Trump showing himself to the world, I'm in charge. And then we've got the left saying, it's finished, it's over, he's ruined the financial system of America, blah, 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 blah. All of this nonsense from the left. All of the stuff from the right is all about how he's done a good job. And we've got more divisive politics. So it looks worse than I think it actually is. Mm-hmm. But back to the issue. Is there, or this is the next question for you, because you've put your point out. Is there so much money coming in from institutions that it makes the halving mute? That's the question. So is there so much money coming into crypto that the 4-year cycle is dead for altcoins, but there's so much money coming into Bitcoin, every time Bitcoin starts to fade, people just keep buying it up through institutions, and MicroStrategy are not going to stop buying next year or the year after or the year after because they're just going to keep printing money. So the next question then is, in your opinion, because your opinion is that it's finished, is the 4-year cycle dead for alts?
Okay, so what is the normal process then? It all pumps in Bitcoin, then it off ramps, not off ramps, but it offloads into everywhere else.
Money flows into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin dominance goes up.
Yeah.
Bitcoin dominance breaks down as the money flows out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, Solana, other coins.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it flows from those coins into smaller caps. And then we end up with people buying NFTs for $200,000. And that's when you know the cycle's finished.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what happened last cycle. Now, is there so much money in Bitcoin from institutions that there's no money to go into alts?
I think there's a large proportion. I think there's a larger proportion, not only of, from there's a big kind of bag of different scenarios which cause there to be Bitcoin being bought, which isn't necessarily going to then offload into everything else. because it's just going to be held as Bitcoin. Now, I think in terms of is Bitcoin over? I think it's going to give a different outcome in terms of the structure of the move of Bitcoin. I don't think this is it. I don't think we've had the high. I don't think this is over. I think we've never really had this mass amount. I'm not saying this is like 60% of Bitcoin being bought, but I think this will definitely cause the price to act differently from. I know this is going back on the topic of Bitcoin and not altcoins, but in terms of the way Bitcoin actually moves, I think this will be a lot very different. But then obviously, with that idea in mind, going back to the topic of altcoins, all this Bitcoin being bought is just categorically Bitcoin being bought, which isn't an individual going, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin and sell it, and I'm going to offload it into other coins to make more money when they pump, and then I'm going to sell that again. Type of scenario. This is just Bitcoin. This is a sole trade of Bitcoin with just more money into Bitcoin. So I think comparatively between Bitcoin and everything else, I think they will everything on a whole will have less of an impact. I think obviously the top coins, those also have scenarios with reserves which have them being allocated in as well, which obviously will help them go up. But I think the actual altcoins and NFTs and whatever, they will definitely not have as much of an impact, I don't think, comparative to the Bitcoin's total value. Whether that be people as a whole aren't doing what they used to do in terms of buying Bitcoin, selling it, and moving off, I don't think is the case. I think it's just necessarily looking at a surface level and seeing Bitcoin's price move with the combination of normal people and institutional people will cause there to be a comparative less effect on altcoins. That's my opinion.
So there isn't going to be a flow into altcoins.
Isn't going to be as much of a flow.
Okay, right. Next question then, and this is the last question. By the way, before I get onto that, KB says the Bitcoin cycle isn't over. Danny says the Bitcoin cycle isn't over. And Jason says, good morning. Right. My last question then, and we'll get off, is we're going to see Solana XRP, maybe Litecoin, maybe Hedera, maybe Chainlink, maybe Made in America ETFs. We're going to see them come to the fore with ETFs, very similar to Ethereum, very similar to Bitcoin. Is there an argument to be made, therefore, that you should only buy coins that have ETFs?
I suppose in terms of the security of that coin, in terms of there always being something to trade off and have value in, I understand the idea of that strategy. And I think to a certain extent I can agree with that. In terms of if you want security of there always being a substantial amount of trade in that, in the ticker, then yeah, I can see that.
Okay, that is the last question because we've run out of time. It's 11:47 and we've got our call in 12 minutes. No. So we started early, everybody. We started at 10:45. We've got to 11:47 and we haven't done half the articles because we had so much to get through. So tomorrow I will either do the same articles or not do the same articles, do the three that we've missed, or we'll move on to something else which is more important. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's great to see you in chat. It's been super quiet today, but that's to be expected because it's a bank holiday in a lot of places around the world. So I wasn't expecting to see too many in. But thank you, KB, Jason, Danny, Hidden Agenda, Mags is here. Thank you all for coming. Do you want to say anything before we go?
Thank you for joining. And my views on Bitcoin weren't truly reflective of my true views, as I was trying to give a bit of a devil's advocate there. I don't think Bitcoin's over. I don't think it will have as much of an effect as I have tried to state, as I'm trying to state a point which I don't, again, I thought I was going to try and argue different sides. Yeah. But I don't think it's over.
Okay. We've got to go. We've got to go. We've got no time. Thank you, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, just let me turn the sound, the music up.